They called her horrible names for marrying a 97-year-old man. Years later, they regretted it. When a single Ghanaian mother found support in a 97-year-old man, many criticized her for her decision. Akua Asabia had a tough time raising her child alone in this not-so-stable economy without much financial help. She didn't come from a wealthy family, so she couldn't rely on family support. As a result, Akua waited for her husband for a long time, hoping that he would come to his senses and take her back. Unfortunately, he did not. Nonetheless, Akua chose to keep the pregnancy, and 9 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby. Her partner, however, refused to admit his paternity. She raised her child on her own for a while before she met Okwasigen, also known as Agiaba, who was 83 years old at the time. Akua was intrigued by the old man's personality, particularly because he was kind-hearted and had a sincere love for humanity. Agiaba, on the other hand, was married to 2 other women, with whom he had multiple children. Even yet, Akua was happy to be friends with Agiaba. They got along so well and became great friends. Agiaba had won her over in a matter of months, and they had become lovers. Akua and Agiaba's relationship has its ups and downs. However, while it had been a common practice in the last 2 centuries, 99% of these girls were forced into these marriages. It is very rare for a young bride to fall in love with her older husband. As a result, when Akua revealed to a few friends that she had fallen in love with a man 60 years older than her, they were shocked. As Akua's friends thought that she must have been bewitched by Agiaba, they just couldn't fathom the idea. Akua was 21 at the time and quite attractive despite already being a mother. Akua realized that her aged lover was finally capable of taking care of her and her child, which was all she desired from life. Akua even claimed her aged lover was quite stylish and energetic in bed, possibly more than most younger men. The exciting part was that Akua's child now had a direct father figure, although not a biological one. Fortunately, the 2 lovers met a few months after she gave the child. It all happened way back in 2006. Akua had to live with her aunt in Aguarukrom, a village between Obuasi and Dun, because she was an orphan. Her lover didn't acknowledge the pregnancy, so she moved to this village. Coincidentally, Agiaba owned the cocoa plantation there. It didn't take long for them to cross paths. Agiaba had 2 wives, and because Akua was younger, there was tension and competitiveness between them. The 3 women inevitably had conflicts, but Agiaba tried to keep the peace. Once they became a couple, people started gossiping about Akua being in a relationship with a man 4 times her age. The news spread quickly, and wherever she went, people would disrespectfully talk about her. The age gap wasn't the only issue. Many people thought Agiaba was just interested in Akua's youth. People often said, "You'd have nothing left by the time he's done with you." Despite the criticism, Akua remained loyal to Agiaba. They lived like a married couple, but they never officially tied the knot, they were just living together. For 14 years they had lived together. Akua had given Agiaba 4 more children. The entire community had been taken aback when Akua became pregnant for the first time. Many people in the community believed that because Agiaba was older, he couldn't have an active family life or father children. Some even predicted that Akua would leave him shortly, believing she was only marrying him for money. They assumed she'd flee with the younger man if her desires weren't met. When I started liking Agiaba, I knew people would talk about us. I expected it, but I didn't think it would be this exaggerated. I'm surprised, and people accuse me of nasty things. Yes, my husband is much older, but that doesn't mean I can't love him. I'm happy he knows my feelings are real, and that's all that matters, Akua shared in an interview. The teasing became more intense once her 4th child was born. Because they weren't legally married, some assumed Agiaba was taking advantage of Akua's innocence. Akua might have worried because people's predictions seemed to come true. However, Agiaba kept the promise he made 14 years ago, to take care of her child like his own. When they first met, he swore to provide for both of them without demanding much in return. Many people were surprised to learn that he had children, which was both good and bad news. I've talked to her many times about what people say. I don't care, it doesn't bother me because I know she truly loves me. That's what matters to me. People will always talk. If I were the younger one, they'd accuse me the same way they accuse Akua. So let them keep talking, Agyaba said. 14 years had passed, Akua was now 35 years old, and Agyaba was 3 years away from having lived a century. Agyaba informed Akua one morning, "We'll be getting married in a few days." Akua was overjoyed. Even though it wasn't a romantic proposal, she was relieved that the harsh comments and murmurs from others would stop. People had said hurtful things to her, but they would come to regret it. The wedding photos of Agyaba and Akua went viral on the internet. Many were surprised at the wedding until they heard the story from 14 years ago. The same people who used to make fun of Akua for marrying an older man were now the ones celebrating with her on her wedding day. Interestingly, some of these women were still not married. It turned out their mean comments were just them being jealous. And now, they had to congratulate the newlyweds with smiles that hid their jealousy.
Subscribe for more content like this. And don't forget to hit the bell button so you can be updated right away for new uploads.